Thanks for your contribution. Always very inspirational to listen and hear from you. So next on the stage is Michele Crivelli on his keynotes. And Michele is a founder and CEO of NexBridge and NexPlace with offices here in El Salvador, and is really kind of taking, finance builds solutions and applications from El Salvador globally. And I think it's an incredible example on what we do is not about just talking about Bitcoin or trying to do things with Bitcoin. Michele has been doing it and it's been really successful, and it will be even more successful moving forward. So it works directly within the country's regulatory and capital markets framework, which again, it gives us a very clear understanding on how things can be done, most importantly here in El Salvador. So, Michele, the floor is yours, and I'll give you the clicker.
Hello everyone, my name is Michele Crivelli and I'm the founder and CEO of NexBridge and NexPlace. And today I would like to discuss with you who we are, what we do, which problem do we solve, and how you can benefit from it. And also why this is a huge opportunity for El Salvador. So, capital markets are moving on chain, no doubt about it. And here in El Salvador, since 2 years, we have a dedicated digital asset law. There is a huge opportunity. Our mission is to connect global capital markets in Latin America through El Salvador on Bitcoin rails. This is possible. So, why should we do this? Because we want to address some challenges that Latin American countries are facing. For example, so Faden just mentioned some of them. Bitcoin is obviously Bitcoin is an alternative, but it's not for everyone yet. So a lot of Latin users are losing purchasing powers every day. They're fighting against inflation, and they don't have access to US dollar denominated investments. And they don't have access to capital markets. And if they do, they need to take unnecessary risk to try to fight inflation. So it doesn't make any sense. That's not fair. And the platforms that are allowing this kind of risk investments are not user-friendly. So these platforms are not for everyday users. So we have a problem of accessing every potential solution that could solve one of these challenges. So that's the reason why we incorporated NexBridge and NexPlace to build a market infrastructure on Bitcoin rails that can basically solve this problem. It's not a closed ecosystem, but we can't wait for other jurisdictions or for other players in the industry to get the license to allow this. So that's the reason why we incorporated NexBridge in 2024, and as a regulated digital asset issuer, so we are basically focusing at the moment on publicly listed instruments, such as bonds, stocks, investment funds. And we also have a platform for primary market trades for institutional clients, but that's not a solution alone. So it's amazing to have access to tokenized treasury bills on Bitcoin, but we still need to build a distribution rail. So that's the reason why we created NexPlace, which is a regulated exchange which allows people to get access to both cryptocurrencies and tokenized assets. So you can buy Bitcoin, but you can also buy treasury bills, which is a kind of money market instrument, daily accrued money market instrument. So what will do the difference now is speed. United States, they are moving forward. They are discussing about a potential digital asset law. We don't know if it will be federal or not, but we already have everything we need here in El Salvador. So you can build a product, could be the best product in the world, with the best stack, with the best specs, but if you don't have a distribution done. If people cannot access it, it's useless. So what we are trying to do here, what we did actually, is creating this market infrastructure in order for us to build a use case, and then everybody else can actually benefit from this. So in order to give you an idea of which kind of instrument we are providing to the market, these are the issuances that have been approved by our regulator, the CNED. And as you can see, we have fixed income product like USTBL that we issued in 2024. At the time, the only authorized distributor was Bitfinex Securities, so it's listed there. And in the meantime, we worked very hard to basically improve the token and also improve the documentation, because you need to know that when you access one of our issuances, we are following kind of TradFi rules. So the experience of accessing this kind of assets is very similar to buy an investment fund through your bank, but on digital rail, on Bitcoin. So you have a prospectus, you can find a lot of information about the yield, there are simulation on performance, disclosure of risk, investment protection. So the idea here is to just use technology to create new products that have portability, and we will discuss about this later, and rights. So as of today, these approved issuances are kind of ETF-like digital exposure on a specific underlying asset, which could be stocks like Apple, MasterCard, Microsoft, equity indexes. So we can provide exposure to NASDAQ index or Asian index. And we also have asset allocation strategies, which are basically investment strategy managed by professionals like JP Morgan and BlackRock. And therefore, what happens is that an user can, depending on which need needs to cover, could basically fight inflation with a very liquid instrument like treasury bills, build his own portfolio of investment, doing stock pickings, or can delegate investment decision to professional with a click of a mouse. So this is what we are trying to build as a first step. At the beginning, we will not issue all these issuing at the same time because it takes time and a lot of liquidity. So we'll start with treasury bills, Tesla, the NASDAQ index, MicroStrategy, and a yield asset allocation token. But moving forward, we will also build additional product that will fit every market where we can actually distribute our products. I'll give you an example. I was mentioning before that user that doesn't have access to quality US dollars instrument, they are taking unnecessary risk. And they are not fairly compensated for that. So imagine that maybe this is too complicated for specific clients that are used to take local bank counterparty risk, and they are getting a return 6%, which is 2% above the risk-free rate. It doesn't make any sense. So imagine that, well, you could put your money in a JP Morgan asset allocation strategy, but imagine that you want to get high yield because you are comparing the yield that you're getting on risk instrument in your country, and then we can provide access to Tesla, for example, to Bitcoin, and we can provide, depending on the volatility, between 10 and 50% guaranteed coupon with the possibility to buy the underlying with a discount. So an asymmetrical exposure on specific underlying assets. So this is something that it's not accessible yet on the market. Yes, there are competitors on other blockchain. I don't know if you trust other blockchain, but institutional clients will not go there because there are missing features. And Liquid Network, Bitcoin Layer 2, solves part of them. The other problems that we need to address, because this is very nice to start, to create a use case, but then what we are working at the moment is to provide legal ownership on our tokens, meaning that we can provide, we can transfer rights as well, and we can add bankruptcy remote features, which is what institutional investor wants. And this is what will actually bring institutional liquidity into the country, into liquid. So I spoke about distribution channels. So this is an example on how NexPlace, our platform, looks like. It looks like a traditional exchange, but we wanted to provide users a smooth experience. So you can actually access our platform, which is desktop-based, or you can also download the mobile app. So everyone that has a phone and an internet connection can access it and can technically access global capital market. We have like feature from quick swap or predefined amount to decrease the entry barrier that a potential client could have. Or we have order books with advanced feature for more advanced trader. And please pay attention. This is a treasury bill against USDT order book. This is liquid. You can buy and sell, and the price discovery is there. Every token that we are issuing will have a similar order book because liquidity is key. If you don't have liquidity, you enter into the market and you don't know when you can exit, which is the biggest entry barrier in the tokenization market at the moment. That's not a good product. So you need to put a lot of feature inside the offering, and that's why I call it market infrastructure, in order for that to be successful. So the other thing which is very important in order to increase adoption, distribution, and attract liquidity is that we don't need to build wallet garden. There are other opportunities on the market to get exposure on treasury bills. There is BlackRock with Biddle. There is Robinhood. Amazing. They're saying that you can get exposure to to the whole New York Stock Exchange stocks. But then there is no portability. These are wallet gardens. So maybe this solution will fulfill very specific need for specific clients, but that's not a solution to create, to basically give access to global capital market in Latin America. So what we are building here, because we cannot, again, I don't want to repeat myself, we cannot wait for third party to move forward. We need to push. So we created a use case so that we can solve real problem right now. And then when other potential partner will be ready, they can benefit from this as well. So I wrote here, one interface for users, one distribution layer for partners. That means that local banks, fintechs, in El Salvador, in Argentina, in Chile, in Peru, Colombia, they can actually connect with our tech, and we will provide everything they need end to end in order for them to basically not change their way to propose their financial instruments. So they connect with API with us, we provide custody for them, they don't need to understand how a blockchain works, and this is how you start to increase adoption. This is what we are gonna do from now on, because on the paper, this is amazing. And it's real. We did this. But maybe it's not enough. Imagine that you download the app, you're a Salvadorian citizen or a Colombian citizen, whatever. You download the app, cool. I can access, on the paper, global capital markets, but I don't know how to access stablecoins in order to enter into this world. So we need to solve this problem as well. How? Well, by creating and using what this region already created so far, and creating US dollar on and off ramp, so that the user, after you register, and by the way, this must be a very quick experience. So we created tailor-made onboarding processes for LATAM clients, meaning that you download the app, you enter with your Google ID, your Apple ID, username and password, scan face, picture of the passport, and you can deposit up to $25,000. 3 minutes. But after that, you can see nice order books, a lot of offerings, but you don't know how to enter into this market. So basically what happens is that you can click on deposit, you will get all the instruction you need in order to move from your local bank in different jurisdictions, not only in El Salvador. You can move US dollars from your bank to our platform. So the user experience will be very smooth. And then they can decide if, when, and on which asset invest. So that's one thing. Then we will also enable card of ramp, so you can buy stablecoin or our digital asset through credit cards. And then Q2, we are, like I mentioned before, we are expanding the offering. We are expanding the offering, we are getting liquidity, we will become liquidity provider, principal market maker, in order to provide our issuances to everyone that holds a license in order to distribute our tokens. Can we wait for them? No. That's why, in order to create distribution, you also need to know the different legal framework. Because you cannot distribute from here to anywhere in the world. So you need to understand what is needed in order to distribute in other countries. Give you an example. Europe is not a target market, but will decrease the risk for the company, and it will also increase the reputation of what we are doing from El Salvador. So you can have the same token with the exact same feature, and you write a different document that fits European market, and then you will have local distributor that will be able to bring liquidity to El Salvador. Then we will also want to provide everyday app experience for our users. So we are introducing also a virtual spending card, which means that you can use not only your stablecoin, but you can use our digital asset, a selection of them, to basically pay for things. So if you're not using these assets, you are generating a returns, and you can spend them. We will also add some more advanced feature for advanced trader like margin trading. But the big deal here is that that's super nice. I mean, it's amazing. But then we need to build distribution rails. So we need to simplify the life of banks. We need to simplify the life of fintech. We need to simplify everyone's life by providing an end-to-end solution, including custody, that can hold all the blockchain, including liquid network, which is a potential blocker otherwise. And we basically have a plan to expand in that way in different jurisdictions. We also, I didn't mention it, we have licenses in other jurisdictions like Argentina. We will get the license in Switzerland in a couple of months as well. So we are expanding in that regard. So when I told you that El Salvador can be the global hub for capital market on Bitcoin, I wasn't joking. This is a huge opportunity. And we can attract institutional liquidity, not by simply issuing trackers of a specific underlying asset, by evolving, working with local partners here to create legal ownership transfer, bankruptcy remote structure, and attract institutional liquidity. And if we do this, no one else in the world will beat us on speed. So that's why I will conclude my speech saying that this is not a dream. This is already happening, and it will happen.
Thank you, Michele. So